So what's his special project, which took place, in fact, just in front of the actual Whitney, right?
Yeah, the new Whitney. This project happened there in 1975. So what's very special about this is every other structure that Gordon cut, he was given. So he had permission to do it. This is a structure that he found. He had no permission to go and cut this pier, but there were all of these piers on the waterfront of the west side at that time that were they're just totally abandoned. And it was a very dangerous area, and also it was the beginning of the gay scene where gay men would meet up and there was cruising. So there was a kind of community there, but in general, people wouldn't go there. And so the people of Manhattan didn't have access to their waterfront. Mm-hmm. And he thought this was a travesty. And what he wanted to create was a kind of post-industrial public park where people could go and be in this space and actually experience the water and the light. And he describes it as wanting to create a sun and water temple or a sun and water festival. So he finds this pier and he was able to access it. He basically just, clipped off the padlock and put his own padlock on. And he designed this cut, which is really defined by this major sort of half moon shape at the end of the pier. And it's called Day's End because when the sun set at the end of the day, the light would come in and fill the space like a cathedral.
Like here we can see,
yes,
right?
So you can see it here. And so you have the light coming in, filling what was this very dark, dangerous space. And at the same time, he also cut a big line through the floor, bisecting this pier so that you could see the water coming up too. And you can, see the water and see the light off the water. So allowing the water into the space, allowing the light into the space. And in this way, he wanted it to be open for the year for people to experience every season. In this space and enjoy the elements.
And so how long did it last?
It lasted not long at all, because while he was doing all the work, even that huge cut, nobody noticed. Nobody from the city came around. But when it was done, his gallerist Holly Solomon organized an opening, and somebody wrote about it in a newspaper, and someone from the city was reading that and said, Pier 52, hold on a second, he doesn't have permission to do that. And so the police came, and there was a warrant put out basically to sue him. And so that's when he went to Paris to do Conical Intersect. And we have this great correspondence between him and his lawyer and this New York City detective.
So it was how long after the opening?
It was at the opening.
Ah.
Yeah, there was the opening and then the police came and shut it down. So, and they locked it back up again. So the structure itself remained standing till 1983 when it was torn down, but people could not access it. You'd have to break in, whereas Gordon was hoping people could just go in.
And you have to